Don't you feel embarrassed relying on others at your age? In this day and age, it's natural to expect people who don't work to be leeches. She clearly didn't like me. Every time she saw me, she'd make a snide remark. Thanks for gracing us with your presence. I hated dealing with these things, so I usually just let her remarks slide. I bet you can't stand up to your husband, can you? If you just worked a little, you wouldn't have to live like a pet goldfish for the rest of your life. I never imagined the day would come when I'd see the looks on their faces like I did today. I'm Sarah James. 3 years ago, I married Ryan. At the time of our marriage, Ryan was working at an advertising agency. He's an incredibly kind husband, more than I could ever deserve. He never does anything I hate, and he's always on my side. He's the one who brings color into my life. With just that, you think I have the perfect happy life. Ryan and I met at work. He was my supervisor and patiently guided me even though I was new and clumsy. I was drawn to his kindness, and after a while I confessed my feelings to him. 2 years later, he proposed and we decided to get married. Around the same time, I quit my job. These days, it's rare for couples to work at the same company. We both wanted children, so I had no reservations about leaving my job. From the outside, everything probably looks like a happy marriage, but I have one big problem. Ryan's older brother and his family. His brother, Ken, is 2 years older than him. Ken took over their family's car repair shop and now runs it as the boss. Ken's wife, Zoe, manages the office and insurance for the shop. And Zoe is a real piece of work. She always tries to one-up everyone. The first time I went to visit Ryan's family, she was there. She gave me a look from head to toe and then scoffed. Wow, since when do you like plain girls? Your taste must have changed. I mean, your last girlfriend was 100 times cuter. So you can go for any type now, huh?
Hey, that's too rude for a first meeting.
He was right. It was incredibly rude. Yeah, I get called plain a lot. I'll work on improving myself. The first impression was awful. It was true, though. Zoe and I were total opposites. She had a flashy, girly-like style, while I preferred to be more reserved and blend in. In today's terms, she was an extrovert, and I was more of an introvert. But since we were going to be family, I hoped we could get along, somehow. On the way home, in the car, Ryan apologized.
Sarah, I'm sorry. I wanted to say something, but I figured it'd just cause more trouble. Those two just don't get it no matter what you say.
No, I'm sorry. I should have dressed flashier for today.
No way. They're the weird ones. Honestly, it's embarrassing for them to be acting like that at their age. Character nails? That's for people in their early 20s.
I was glad Ryan was on my side. That was all I needed. Sorry for worrying you. Even if Ken and Zoe didn't like me, I loved Ryan. That's why I married him and why I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. After that, we agreed not to get too involved with Ken's family. Our family relationships were a bit strained, so we didn't even have a wedding. Besides, I've never liked being the center of attention, and most of my friends didn't have weddings either. So I didn't feel right about having one either. Plus, fewer events meant fewer encounters with Ken and Zoe. We did have a small gathering to introduce our families, though. While I didn't get along with Ken and Zoe, Ryan's parents, Mike and Terry, were very kind and considerate towards me.
Don't bring up too much about your work, Sarah. Earning a living is tough, and if it ever gets hard, you can always come back home. No, scratch that. Don't come back. I'd love for you to come home, but maybe I shouldn't say that.
Mike knew me well and understood my situation without me having to say a word. We had a deep bond because I lost my mother at a young age. Since then, I had grown up with just my father and grandmother. They both worked hard to make sure I didn't feel lonely and raised me with so much love. Grandma especially adored Ryan. Ryan is a good man. I can tell he really treasures you. Thank you, Grandma. That means a lot. It's rare to meet someone who truly loves you in life, so cherish him. Grandma's words carried a lot of weight. I always confided in her about everything, the good and the bad. I am who I am today because of the love of those two people. But just as Ryan and I were starting our new life, misfortune struck. My beloved grandmother suddenly collapsed. We rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. 2 days earlier, she had been fine, and we had even made plans to have lunch together. She had been working hard as always and then collapsed on her way home. When I went to her workplace, one of her colleagues handed me a sealed envelope.
Sarah, she asked me to give you this if anything ever happened to her. She didn't expect it to be so soon, though. None of us did.
The man was openly crying, as were the other employees. It was clear how much they loved and respected her, and she had loved them too.
Go ahead, Sarah. You should open it.
Okay, I'll take a look. Inside was the deed to Grandma's company. Dad, I think this should be yours.
No, this is yours. Read the letter inside.
I was confused, so I opened the letter. If something happens to me, Sarah will take over the company. My son will protect the subsidiaries, but Sarah will inherit the main business. The staff here are excellent and will support her. She is kind, and while that may make business difficult, her father and the team will help her. I know she can do it. Sarah, protect the store. Tears welled up in my eyes as I read her words.
Your grandmother often told us to support you when she was gone, and we will. Please, accept this responsibility.
I couldn't stop crying, but my father reassured me.
The employees here are truly capable. You're going to be okay. We'll all help you protect your grandmother's legacy.
I'll do my best. The employees welcomed me with applause, ready to support me in this new role. That night when I got home, Ryan noticed I was troubled.
Don't push yourself too hard. Take your time.
Thanks, but I have to tell you something about what happened today.
Wait, what? You're going to be the owner of that huge metals company?
Yeah, but I don't have the skills to back it up, so please don't tell anyone yet. I don't want to get targeted.
Good point. You definitely shouldn't mention it to my family yet.
Right. I'll keep it quiet until I'm more confident. And that's how I went from a stay-at-home wife who enjoyed making jewelry to becoming the owner of a metal company. Since then, I've gone to work every day to learn the ropes from the employees. Managing the kind of money we handle daily is a lot of pressure. We still visited Ryan's family once a month, though. Ryan made sure we didn't cross paths with Ken and Zoe too often. Fortunately, Ryan's parents were understanding and always looked out for me. But the holidays were a different story. We couldn't avoid them then. Forget mother-in-law issues. Our problem was with Ken's family. After 6 months of marriage, New Year's came and we had a family gathering at Ryan's house. It had been a while, but Zoe still didn't like me. Happy New Year! Oh, what was your name again? Immediately, the weird memory game started.
Sis, knock it off. It's not even funny.
No, really, I forgot. It's just because I'm so relaxed, you know, and that's the luxury of being a stay-at-home wife. Haven't talked to anyone outside the family in a while, right? Must feel nice to be able to crack a joke with someone else. I wish she'd just ignore me if she disliked me that much. But no, she always had to engage with me. So, Sarah, are you pregnant? What makes you say that? Oh, just a feeling. And I thought I'd give you a heads up before we officially announce it. You know, being a stay-at-home wife with no kids is such a waste. You should really work on getting chosen. This was Zoe's way of flexing that she was pregnant. Sure, I wanted kids, but I wasn't in a rush. It hurt, though, that she implied I wasn't good enough to have them. Ryan noticed something was off and gently asked if everything was okay.
Is everything all right? Did she say something again?
I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I'll make the pregnancy announcement when the time is right. I couldn't bring myself to tell Ryan about the comments Zoe made. At dinner, we all sat around the sushi that Ryan's parents had prepared. Zoe dramatically peeled the toppings off her sushi and ate just the rice.
Zoe, I thought you liked sushi.
Oh, I do, but, well, I didn't want to be rude, especially to Sarah. Everyone turned to look at me confused. You know, I noticed Sarah looked a bit upset earlier, probably when she saw my pregnancy bump. I get it, though. Must be tough being a childless housewife. I hadn't done anything, but Zoe took the opportunity to make me look petty. Ken jumped in, accusing me of not being able to be happy for others.
That's the problem with people who don't have kids. They get jealous. You can't even celebrate someone else's happiness, huh?
I didn't do anything.
Oh, sure, you're the type that doubts your own worth because you're just sitting at home all day with no kids. But don't project that onto others. Hold on a minute. There's no reason to attack her like that. Don't you realize how ridiculous you sound? Oh, come on, you're just mad because it's true. How do you think it feels to have a leech wife who does nothing? That's enough. Let's go, Sarah. We're leaving.
But they went to so much trouble preparing everything. I don't want to be rude. Oh, what a wonderful husband you have, Sarah. Sticking up for a freeloading wife like you. Maybe you two really are a perfect match. Both useless.
Huh, it must be rough for you, huh? I'm the boss now, and Ryan's still just an employee. With a wife like that, no wonder you guys don't have kids. You've gone too far, Ken. Sarah has nothing to do with your nonsense. Stop projecting your failures onto her.
Ryan took my hand and led me out of the house. His kindness brought tears to my eyes. Isn't it embarrassing to be leeching off someone else's hard work at your age? People who don't work don't deserve anything in this day and age. I could feel my patience wearing thin as Zoe's insults continued. If you want to stop living like a goldfish in a bowl, maybe you should take some notes from me. But thank you for gracing us with your presence. I usually ignored her snide remarks, but today I had reached my limit. As I was gathering our things to leave, Zoe kept firing insults at me. You probably can't even stand up to your husband, right? If you just worked and were productive, maybe you'd finally get pregnant. But as it stands, unproductive women aren't attractive, and they end up discarded. You better hope you get pregnant before Ryan throws you out. But hey, babies choose their mothers, so you need to work on being chosen. After that, I couldn't even muster the energy to respond. On the drive home, I apologized to Ryan's mother for the trouble we'd caused. Oh, I'm so sorry for causing trouble after you went through all the effort to prepare everything.
What are you talking about? You have nothing to apologize for. You didn't deserve any of that. Here, take this sushi home with you. It's not like Zoe could eat it anyway.
Are you sure?
Oh, absolutely. She couldn't eat it, apparently, so you should enjoy it. Next time, come by without them, and we'll have a proper visit. And Ryan, you better take good care of her. We don't want Sarah getting fed up with this nonsense.
Ryan always looks out for me. If anyone's worried about that, it's me.
Sarah, you're such a wonderful woman. It's important for a woman to be humble. I wish I could teach a certain someone that lesson.
Her words gave me some comfort as we drove home.
Why didn't you tell them about owning the metal shop? If it were me, I would have said something.
I thought about it, but I figured it'd just make things more complicated. Besides, based on Zoe's logic, we should have kids any day now, right?
Huh, yeah, no doubt. Based on that logic, you're spot on.
We laughed together, though deep down I couldn't help but envy Zoe's pregnancy a little. I wanted kids too, and it's starting to feel left behind, but I regretted leaving in such a tense way. We still have to deal with them in the future, and I wasn't sure time would heal this. I planned to send an apology gift later. I had heard that pregnancy hormones made people more emotional, and I wondered if maybe I should have just ignored her comments like I usually did. After the New Year's holiday, things went back to normal. Business at the metal shop picked up during the bonus seasons in January and August. We've been getting more foreign customers recently, so I worked on the floor more often to understand the day-to-day operations. There was something I hadn't told Ryan's family yet, that Ryan had joined me in managing the business. His advertising agency has struggled in recent years, so he'd taken early retirement and became an executive at my company. With his great people skills, Ryan thrived in any environment. One day during a meeting, my assistant came in with a concerned look and handed me a note.
There's a problem with a customer trying to sell fake gold. It's becoming a bit of a scene.
I see. Thanks for letting me know. Make sure security's on standby just in case. Should I head out there?
The team's already handling it, but I thought you should be aware.
Good. Keep me posted. These types of incidents weren't rare in our line of work. Customers sometimes didn't realize they had counterfeit goods. Normally, I'd step out and assist right away, but I was in the middle of an important meeting. When the meeting ended, I went to check on the situation, but the store had already quieted down. One of the staff was mopping the floor when I arrived. Sorry, I wasn't here earlier. Is everything okay now?
Yes, but the customer wasn't happy. They ended up throwing water at us.
What? Are you alright? Go change. I'll finish up here.
It's fine, it was just water, but yes, it was a challenging customer. They even said they'd come back. Apparently, they have more gold at home, but it was obviously fake. We didn't even need a scope to check.
I see. Thank you for handling it. You did well. After reassuring the staff, I returned to my office to continue working. A few hours later, my phone rang. It was Zoe. I really don't want to answer this. Despite my hesitation, I picked up. Hello? Oh, wow, finally. You didn't answer earlier. Trying to pretend you're busy, huh? Zoe didn't waste a second before launching into insults. What do you want, Zoe? Geez, so impatient. You don't have anything better to do, so why the rush? What were you doing, napping? Pregnant women get so tired, you know. Oh wait, you wouldn't know, would you? She knew how to push my buttons. Is there a reason you called? Oh, right. I was wondering if you'd thought about our baby gift. You know, a generous one. Cash would be perfect. Cash? Really? I wasn't surprised Zoe was asking for money, but I didn't expect her to be so direct. It's much easier than picking something out, don't you think? Plus, it's thoughtful. I'll talk to Ryan about it tonight. Talk? What's there to talk about? Just give me the cash now. I can swing by and pick it up. The baby's not even born yet. Isn't it a bit early? You don't understand anything, do you? You need to be prepared before the baby comes. That's just common sense. No wonder you don't have kids. Sorry, I'm not home right now. I'll talk to Ryan, and we'll decide together. I hung up before she could say more. Zoe called several more times, but I ignored them. I'd never been asked to give money as a baby gift, and I started to wonder if she was in financial trouble. But then I remembered how much she loved flaunting her perfect life as a CEO's wife. That night, when I got home from work, I saw a familiar car parked outside our house. Zoe. Where have you been? A housewife staying out this late? It's suspicious. Wait, are you cheating? You're all dressed up, and you smell like perfume. I bet you're having an affair. Zoe leaned in and sniffed me, her behavior becoming even more absurd. What are you doing? Stop that. Pregnant women are sensitive to smells. You must be cheating. I'm going to tell Ryan unless you pay me to keep quiet. Before I could respond, Ryan pulled into the driveway.
What's going on here? Zoe, what are you talking about?
Oh, Ryan, just a misunderstanding. Anyway, I expect that cash by tomorrow night, or I'll be telling everyone. She turned and hurried away before I could say anything else.
What was that about?
It's a long story. Let's go inside and I'll explain. Once inside, I told Ryan everything that had happened.
Do you think she's in financial trouble? I didn't get that sense from Ken last time.
It felt like she was desperate. Maybe Zoe's hiding something from him?
That's possible. I'll come home early tomorrow and we'll confront her together.
Good idea. I'm glad we talked about this. Ryan always knew how to make me feel better, and his quick thinking reassured me. The next day at work, things were running smoothly until one of the staff came to find me.
I'm sorry to bother you, but the customer with the fake gold from yesterday is back.
Oh, are they trying to sell something again?
Yes, this time they're trying to negotiate the price on some jewelry. They're demanding to speak to a manager.
All right, I'll handle it. When I stepped out, I froze. It was Zoe, and she wasn't alone. She was with a man who looked far too young to be her husband. Zoe, what are you doing here? Oh, it's not what you think. This is my brother. Your brother? I've never heard of you having a brother. Why are you two wearing matching rings? Zoe looked flustered, but the young man chimed in.
Maybe this isn't the time to lie. I'm not her brother. I'm her, well, let's just say I'm her sugar baby.
I stared at them in shock. What? You're having an affair with him? I can explain. Please, let's talk in private. I led them to a back office, away from customers, to avoid causing a scene. Okay, fine. He's not my brother, but you can't tell anyone, especially Ken.
Yeah, and don't think I'm the bad guy here. She was paying me. She liked being the rich, powerful woman, but I'm over it.
What do you mean, over it?
Look, I'm done with this. You're not even that rich anymore. And it's embarrassing to see you haggling over prices. I was only here for the money, and now that's dried up.
Zoe fell to her knees, crying. So you're just going to leave me because I don't have money anymore? What about our baby?
Is it really mine? You said it is, but I've got my doubts.
Of course it's yours. You're the only one I've been with.
Yeah, well, I'd need proof of that. DNA test, maybe? I don't just take people's word for it.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This was all spiraling out of control. So, let me get this straight. The baby you're carrying might not be your husband's? Suddenly, the office door opened and Ryan walked in.
What's going on here?
Zoe froze. It was clear she hadn't expected Ryan to show up.
Zoe, care to explain why you're with him?
I can explain. It's not what it looks like.
I wouldn't say that. It's exactly what it looks like. I'm her sugar baby.
Ryan's face darkened as he processed the young man's words.
So you're telling me the baby might not even be Ken's?
Zoe broke down into sobs, but the young man looked indifferent.
Look, I'm out. This has gotten way too messy for me. If you need me, you know where to find me.
He handed me his business card, winked, and casually walked out. Please, don't say anything to Ken. He doesn't need to know. It would destroy him.
You should have thought about that before you started all of this, Zoe.
Zoe grabbed Ryan's arm, begging. Please, Ryan. You don't understand. If Ken finds out, I'll lose everything. And the baby? I can't raise it alone. You should have considered that before. How could you betray him like this? I don't know what I was thinking. I just wanted to feel loved. I thought this guy cared about me, but please, Sarah, don't tell Ken. I'm sorry, Zoe, but Ken deserves to know the truth.
Yeah, we can't cover for you. We'll tell him everything.
Zoe fell to her knees again, sobbing uncontrollably. No, please, I'll do anything. Just don't tell him. Ryan looked at me and I nodded in agreement.
This isn't something we can just keep quiet about. Ken's my brother, and he deserves to know what's really going on.
Zoe was silent for a moment and then suddenly lunged toward me. If you tell him, I'll ruin you. I swear, I'll make your life a living hell.
That's enough, Zoe.
Ryan pulled Zoe away from me as I stood frozen.
We're done here. Get out, Zoe, and figure out how you're going to explain this to Ken.
Defeated, Zoe stormed out of the office, slamming the door behind her. Once she was gone, I took a deep breath.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I just can't believe all of this. Poor Ken.
I know. We'll tell him tonight. He deserves to know the truth.
That evening, Ryan and I sat down with Ken and told him everything. Ken was devastated. He couldn't believe that Zoe had been unfaithful and that the baby might not even be his.
I need to know for sure. I'll get a DNA test as soon as the baby is born. I think that's the right call, Ken. You need to be sure. Thank you for telling me. I don't know what to do now. We're here for you no matter what happens.
Over the next few months, Ken prepared for the baby's arrival, still unsure of what the future held. When the baby was born, a DNA test confirmed that Ken was not the father. Devastated, Ken filed for divorce and cut all ties with Zoe. Zoe moved in with her parents and the baby was raised by her family. A year passed and Ken began to rebuild his life.
I was so blind. Thank you for helping me see the truth. We're just glad you're doing better now. You deserve to be happy.
As for me and Ryan, life continued, and soon enough I found out I was pregnant. Ryan, we're going to have a baby. Ryan's face lit up with joy and he hugged me tightly.
I knew it. We're going to be amazing parents.
We were overjoyed, and our baby arrived a few months later, bringing even more love into our lives. Zoe disappeared from our lives, and we never heard from her again. I realized how important it was to have the right people by your side, and I was grateful every day for the life I had built with Ryan. No matter what challenges we faced, I knew that together we could overcome anything.